Hey everybody, Torp here. I want to go over this drone registration thing a little bit because I'm really confused about it. I've watched all the big channels that have what seems to me to be the most information possible at this point, considering that the new drone registration is so new. Like Demon Seed, he's great. There's a lot of them out there. RC Camps is great. But I've been leaving comments on these guys' channels on this subject. I'm really not getting anywhere with the answers that I'm looking for, so hopefully this video will help me understand it better, because perhaps there's some other people out there going through this that actually can answer the few questions that I have. First off, let me say this. I have registered my drone. The reason being for that is it was only $5. Now, while you might say that's extortion, it's just another way for the government to make money, I'm going to be honest with you. If it was $500, I'd be saying that. For $5, it might as well be free, which it happens to be for me because I'm doing it within the 30-day time frame. So I'm going to get my $5 back anyway, so it really doesn't matter. It's not about the money then, is it? Right? Not for another 3 years. So after 3 years, I got to re-register, and then it will actually cost me the whole $5. In my mind, it's free. All right. Everybody's got their opinion. That's mine. As you can see, I got a DJ Phantom FC40 behind me. I love this thing. It's not a Vision 2 Plus. It's not a 3 standard, but it really works well. I've crashed it once when I first got it because I thought pulling down on the left joystick would make it come down. But as anybody out there that operates a drone knows, bringing that joystick on the left all the way down turns off the props. Found that out the hard way. We all learn in our own ways. Anyways, getting back to the point. The Federal Aviation Administration Certificate of Registration is what I did. And these are my questions. First of all, if you understand the law on this, which it is a law, because if you can be arrested or fined, it's a law. Fly below 400 feet. Okay, yeah, I get that. The thing's got a 400-foot ceiling cap, but that can be adjusted. And if you bought your drone from somebody else and get it registered, and they modified that through the app, they could have made it go 800 feet or unlimited. So, most people wouldn't even know what that was. I just recently found out about that. I've had this thing for almost a year. So flying below 400 feet, that's sketchy at best, especially if you don't have FPV or some sort of an app that tells you how high you are. So I was really thinking to myself, that is going to be unenforceable at best. But the one that is the worst one of all is never fly near another aircraft. I'll be honest with you guys, when I'm high up in the air, maybe 100 yards, maybe 200 yards up in the air, I can't even see the damn thing. How am I supposed to know somebody else is up there? What, am I supposed to get a flight control tower now or the radar system so that I know where all the other drones in the area are? I just heard in the media, this is the one thing they probably got right this year, there's at least 700,000 drones were purchased for Christmas. I watched 3 a night at 7:30 p.m. fly over the farm in the backyard. They're awesome, they're huge. I don't think they're Aspires because they're way too big. Who the hell's flying those things? I have no idea. And if it wasn't at night, I wouldn't even see them. Keep your UAS within visual line of sight. This is my favorite question for everybody. Keep it within, this is what it says from the website. This is my certificate. Keep your UAS, unmanned aerial, forgot what the S was again, system is what I'm thinking, within a visual line of sight. So keep your drone where you can see it in the air. I don't know about you guys, but once that thing goes straight up in the air, and you got your head back like this, you lose sight of it fast. Even with the LEDs, the GPS LEDs on the Phantom, you lose sight of it really quick, especially if you've noticed on a cloudy day, it just blends right in with everything above you. So I'm thinking, if I can't see it, then I need my FPV. My first person view, gotta have it, right? But it's supposed to be illegal now to fly it out of sight. So does this mean that FPVs are illegal? Because if you're wearing them, that means you can't see your drone. You cannot see it. That's why you have the FPV. So why are they still selling FPVs then, since the only purpose they have is that you can actually see what your drone sees, you know where it is, because it's out of your eyeball sight. I don't get that part. As a matter of fact, there is no way to get that part because it doesn't make any sense. Fly it in your backyard 20 foot off the ground is what they're saying. Is there any way to enforce this, by the way? Because if a police officer came up and saw me with a controller, my RC, in my hand, pulled up in a park and says, "You got a drone up there?" "Yes, sir, I do." "Well, where is it?" I said, "It's right there." He says, "I can't see it." I says, "Well, I can see it." He says, "No, I can't see it. It's not line of sight." That's a $250,000 fine, and you may be facing 3 years in jail because you did not follow the guidelines. So it's my word against his. It's his eyeballs against my eyeballs as far as where the drone is and if it's visible. I'm like, wow, okay, that's fine. That's never going to work with me only because that's a matter of opinion. This is supposed to be a law. Law is never opinion. These are guidelines, right? Always keep away from emergency responders. That part I get. The problem is, let's say, for example, I'm in this county, and I got my drone up in the air, I fly it a quarter mile away. A quarter mile away is clearly, at least where I live, could be in any 4, 5, 6 counties around me. I don't know what's going on over there. So maybe there's a car accident, maybe there's a house fire, it could be any number of things, as you guys know. So accidentally, without knowing it, my drone is now watching emergency responders. It's in that area. I didn't know it. It wasn't intentional. But now I can get fined up to $250,000 and go to jail for 3 years. How does this make sense to me? It doesn't. Another one. Never fly over stadiums, sports events, or other groups of people. I live in a rural area. There's always people on the ground. We call it a society. If you have your drone 100 yards, 200 yards, 300 yards, God forbid, 400 feet off the ground, how are you not flying over people? How is that even possible? I don't have 500 acres of private property. Every time I go up 30 feet, I'm over people. How are they going to enforce that? Basically what they're saying is you're grounded, unless you own a small island somewhere. Next one. Never fly under the influence of drugs or alcohol. I'm sorry, but half the society that we live in is under the influence of drugs. It's called psychedelic medicine. You got Prozac, Depakote, you got all these different things that keep people calm nowadays. Almost everybody's on something. They're under the influence of something. God forbid I get a cold, do 2 shots of NyQuil, feeling very relaxed, I'm going to fly my drone. Guess what? You're going to jail for 3 years. According to this, that's possible. That's pretty crazy to me. The next and last one on the list is never fly within 5 miles of an airport without first contacting air control and airport authorities. I have no idea what that even means. There are airports everywhere. And if I'm not allowed to fly within 5 miles of one, once again, all that means is I'm grounded. I live near the, there's 3 airports here? 4 airports here. 3 of which I know are at least within 5 miles. So I can't fly anywhere in northern Kentucky. That's where I'm from, northern Kentucky. Can't do it. There's no possible way to put my, according to this, there is no way for me to put my drone up in the air. Because I'll be breaking every one of these rules right off the bat. I like to have a couple beers from time to time. That's off. Fly below 400 feet. That's the only one that's actually possible. But then without FPV or some sort of an app, I'm not going to know how high I actually am. So I'm facing jail time, losing my house for flying the drone, since I don't know exactly how high it is. And the visual line of sight, that's garbage. You can fly that thing behind a tree. You lose sight of it, you're arrested. I know this sounds a bit extreme on my part, but let's face it, these are very vague rules, and there's really easy ways to break them unintentionally. And that's kind of my question. I've been asking a lot of these guys. If you have to have it in line of sight, which is my number one concern, we all know that when you put these things up a pretty decent distance, half of the ceiling cap, you can't see them. Especially on a cloudy day. You cannot see them. To me, all this says is you're grounded for registering. Because I have to agree with some of these other vloggers out there about this subject. Once you've registered, all it does is scare you. You've got the guts to go out there and fly. You got your numbers on the aircraft. You got your numbers in your wallet. Your unique numbers to identify who you are. But you know, since you've done that, they can identify you for breaking any one of these rules, which are impossible not to break. But if you take your aircraft up and it's out of line of sight and it does crash and you haven't registered, guess what? That was an anonymous crash. You just got away with it. Nothing anybody can do. All they can do is crash the aircraft, and they're coming down now with some seriously good prices on even the standard. 3 is like $500 around here. Not to mention these small ones, which now do just about as much as the DJI does. They don't have GPS, but hey, if you got FPV, who gives a shit? Once you learn how to fly it, you're in good shape, right? Anyway, I would absolutely love any response you guys got on this, because I'm trying to learn as much as I can on this, which is my opinion. But my biggest one, I'll leave this for last, is keep it within visual line of sight. There's no point in having a drone if you have to keep it within visual line of sight. The whole point of having the drone, the quadcopter, or the unmanned aircraft was so that you can get it high up in the air and get an aerial, which if you get up that high, you can't see it. If I could see my drone everywhere it was that I intended to fly it, so it could see something I couldn't, I'm not going to be able to see it. If that makes any sense at all, I hope it does. But line of sight is not possible. Get back to me on that one. That's my favorite question. How do you fly a drone and keep it in line of sight while making it do its main function, which is to go high and far? That's the whole point of the drone. Anyway, hope this video finds the right people well. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys again soon. I'll be making more of these videos. Like I said, I've had this guy now for about a year. I've also got a small mini micro. It's actually a Proto X FPV. It actually has more options than this thing does, believe it or not. And I only paid about 1/10 of the price. Anyways, I'll be making more of these videos. Leave your comments below. Can't wait to see them. And do me a favor. If you guys are going to leave a comment, make sure that that comment is relevant, because if it's not relevant, I'll probably just go ahead and either erase the comment or erase you. This is a serious subject. I'd like to have a real discussion. Thanks for watching.